XRP, XRP, XRP. Every single time I open the comment section, it's people asking more questions about how will the ETF affect the XRP price? How will the Ripple stablecoin affect XRP and Ripple? And most importantly, and this is the one I see the most, how about the XRP lawsuit? And so a little bit earlier, I noticed some new crazy predictions going around. An analyst says XRP will reach $250, not $2.50 this cycle, stating some key factors. But honest truth, I can't really look at one of those videos or one of those articles anymore because we're talking about something way too far in the future. And even if they have a point, it's not relevant for the next few months, so I just kind of like to skip it. But some articles that did hit close to home were articles akin to this one. XRP price set to skyrocket as Ripple nears the SEC settlement, predicts BitBoy. And so whenever people talk about this, I take it a lot more seriously because, first of all, it's our savior, right? The XRP commander. No, but in all seriousness, if tens of thousands of people are going to watch this and listen to it, I think it's definitely worth a little bit of a thought, especially when right now a lot of articles of this sort seem to be published. So I thought, let me give you my thoughts on the situation. And as follows, I'll tell you quickly that I believe altcoins this time around will have a very similar flow to previous runs. Bitcoin first, Ethereum second, just like how we're seeing it with the ETFs, and then big altcoins like XRP, Chainlink, Solana, the big ones. And we're not there yet, but we're getting closer and closer as Ethereum is now in the forefront. And the question then becomes, which coins will do better than others? And people, for that reason, are getting more and more excited about XRP as the bull market sets further and these bigger altcoins look juicier and juicier in comparison to Bitcoin. And that's where people start looking at more of the details, like, for example, the fact that if a Ripple versus SEC settlement were to come, right now even more likely to be beneficial and easy because the SEC is also opening up more to Ethereum ETFs, all this regulatory pressure from some higher up powers, and because Trump is accepting XRP for his campaign, and Kennedy was really progressive with GME and everything like that. I keep thinking, if this is over, there's really less and less of an argument that people can make against XRP. But more importantly, I think it will just be a good day. And whereas in the previous time, Ripple settled, right, and XRP was freed, that was a really bad market, really bad timing. Now, though, I think because the bull market's so strong, look at Ethereum after the ETF first parts. The ETF hasn't even been approved yet. I still think we'll do a lot for the price, even though it's months out, potentially. Just imagine if XRP is completely out and done. I think it could do well this time around. No guarantees, though, because we've been disappointed many times, but I'm just saying these are catalysts, again, that now become better and better. Because from a fundamental perspective, XRP has only gotten better over time. It's just been the price adoption. But then I relate it back to all these other top coins, and it's just not been there for altcoins just quite yet. Then again, people have said, is the Ripple stablecoin going to be negative for XRP? I don't know why it would be. You might say, I think regardless of your perception of Ripple as a company, their XRP product is still something, or XRP related products, let's say, still something quite unique. You might say, oh, but it's a US-based company and the currency price floats and they only have to be in it for a very short amount of time anyway. But I always think back in the sense of, you know, any stablecoin could have always been used, but first of all, what is it going to be tied to? And there's a lot of parts in that. Perhaps they don't want to work in the background with all these dollars all the time and everything denominated in dollars and just have a decentralized part. Just similar to how you might argue that Bitcoin, for any of its purposes, could be beaten by something else except for being a store of value. It's not really fast, it's not really efficient, it's not really scalable, but still it's the main thing. I feel like it would be similar to saying Ethereum would die out because stablecoins are a little bit easier. You might say, oh, but Ethereum is being used for gas. Yeah, but I know mostly people that really still use Ethereum and ETH for buying NFTs or doing this, that. And you would expect that everything would be stablecoin, but it's really not. Anyway, my point, however, was not that the whole Ripple stablecoin here is not going to take over or anything like that. At the end of the day, something could. I'm just purely looking at it from a logic perspective. How well will the price do in a bull market and when? And I think if we really just disregard every single technological advancement over the last couple of years, Because back in 2017, they had almost nothing, and it did so well that it just makes sense for it to still do well, regardless of whether or not you hate Ripple, regardless of whether or not you thought that the gain should have been more by now. It just makes sense for in a bull market for some of these coins to really still go hard. Now, a question you might have is this coin better than another one? That is always the most difficult part. But that is also why I am so heavy on the diversification of buying all these different assets, because you're never sure which is going to perform best, especially in a market like this, where it's not everything going on a crazy frenzy just quite yet. But I do believe that as we got ourselves the settlement coming up, and potentially these ETFs coming up close, that will be more than enough, just those two announcements, for some crazy speculatory wave to happen. And I know many people like to hate in the comments saying XRP has been so boring, but I keep looking back at it thinking, well, Cardano and all these other major coins, they're not back at all-time high just quite yet. Give it a little bit of time. And if it hasn't performed well by the end of the bull market, then those people were right. But I see that chance is pretty small. Now, if somebody asked me, hey, name 10 currencies that you'd really be excited for right now, I wouldn't pick XRP. And the reason I'm saying that, honest truth, is not because I don't think it'll do well. I think it will still do well. But it's because it's not the main hype. And so the probability of XRP doing well this run is as similar as most of these other main currencies in the top of the top doing well. It's just very, very high. Only a few might fail, but most of them will do good. And because XRP had this lawsuit pressure, but now actually won the lawsuit, and because it hasn't made an all-time high in such a long time, I do believe the moment that it crosses $1 and starts going, that'll be really hard. But it's just, for XRP, it seems so much harder to get there. Okay, I guess that was some sort of, well, maybe a fight. I don't know. That's what you get in the jungle, I guess. Anyway, like I was talking about when it came to XRP, with slightly more horror in my voice than about like 5 minutes ago, and also more armed than I was about, a minute ago. If you really don't think it'll do well, I really want somebody to sit down and give a good basis for it. You might say, oh, it's useless. It was useless back in 2017. A lot of coins are pretty stupid in essence as to what they do. I'd argue that 99% of the AI coins out there, the token itself is pretty stupid, even though the project's pretty good. Doesn't mean the coin won't do well. Again, it just depends on what the retail, what the people are looking for, what they want, where the hype is at, and in my own opinion, how it historically has performed, because that sets the expectation for next runs, next seasons, next times. With XRP, there was such crazy hype all the way back then that I do believe is going to be revived and going to be coming back. My thoughts on the situation. And you could argue saying, no, because of Ripple taking advantage. Don't care. Doesn't matter if Ripple has a lot. Doesn't mean I still think it will probably do well based on the reasons I just mentioned. And the only thing you can tell me is no, XRP is outdated. But again, that becomes more and more difficult because you might say, oh, but Ethereum is outdated because there are many better layer ones or even just layer twos that make Ethereum itself kind of meh. But still, Ethereum is for the most part most used. Some people argue Solana, but let's just say Ethereum is still very, very high up there. And it's not only the things being built on Ethereum that are making it alive. It's also the vision. It's also people's thoughts on it. And it's also not like Litecoin where the founder just basically sold everything he had at the top. And even though I would never buy Litecoin again, I do believe even that coin has some good potential to do well this season. But they've basically got almost nothing going for them. With XRP, there's a lot going. It's just a matter of, do you find it important enough? Is that catalytic enough? But hey, it's just everybody's own opinion on the matter. I think if we look back in a good while, it'll probably still do well. I wouldn't necessarily just add more to my stash. I've already got enough. And yeah, I'm not really selling too much either because what else am I going to buy? Oh, this, that coin. All of these coins have some good parts and bad parts, which is why diversification is key. But let me know what you think about the situation down below. Let me know if you think if BitBoy is right.